The crumpled love letter lay in the kitchen trash, its ink smudged by coffee grounds and a half-eaten apple, as if her rejection wasn't just of my words, but of my entire existence. I stood frozen, the weight of the discovery sinking into my chest like a stone dropped into a still lake. My hands trembled as I salvaged the paper, the words I'd poured out last night, after our worst fight in 10 years of marriage, now stained and discarded. I'd written it to save us, to bridge the chasm her anger had carved. But this was a betrayal I hadn't seen coming. The house was quiet, save for the faint hum of the refrigerator. Last night's argument still echoed in my mind. Her voice sharp, accusing me of being distant, of not caring enough, while I begged her to see how hard I was trying. I'd stayed up until dawn, penning that letter, each sentence a plea to mend what was breaking. I left it on her nightstand before heading to work, hoping she'd read it, feel it, maybe even cry. Instead, she'd thrown it away without a second thought. I smoothed the paper on the counter, my eyes scanning the familiar loops of my handwriting. Lila, I know we're struggling, but I love you more than words can hold. I'm not giving up on us. The words felt hollow now, mocked by their resting place among the garbage. My stomach churned. Was this her answer? Was this what our marriage had become? Lila and I had met in college, two dreamers with nothing but ambition and cheap coffee. She was vibrant, her laugh a melody that could pull me out of any darkness. I was steadier, the anchor to her storm. We built a life together, a modest house in the suburbs, a daughter named Emma who was now 7, and a rhythm of shared mornings and quiet evenings. But lately, that rhythm had faltered. Lila had grown distant, her smiles rare, her eyes always elsewhere. I thought it was stress, her new job at the law firm, the long hours. I thought we were just in a rough patch. Now, staring at the letter, doubt crept in like a thief. Why would she throw it away? Why not talk to me, yell at me? Anything but this silent dismissal. I glanced at the clock. 4:47 p.m. Lila wouldn't be home for another hour. Emma was at her piano lesson. The house felt too big, too empty, and I needed answers. I wandered into our bedroom, the letter still clutched in my hand. The bed was unmade, Lila's side a tangle of sheets. Her nightstand drawer was slightly ajar, a sliver of something unfamiliar peeking out, a corner of a photo. My heart thudded as I pulled the drawer open. Inside was a small stack of Polaroids, tucked beneath her jewelry box. They weren't ours. They weren't of Emma or me. They were of Lila and a man I didn't recognize, his arm around her, her smile brighter than I'd seen in months. The room spun. I sank onto the bed, the photos spilling onto the duvet. In one, they were at a cafe, her head tilted toward him, laughing. In another, they stood by a lake, his hand on her waist. The dates on the Polaroids were recent, last month, last week. My breath caught as I flipped through them, each image a knife twisting deeper. Who was he? How long had this been going on? I heard the front door creak open downstairs. Evan. Lila's voice called casual, as if nothing was wrong. My hands shook as I stuffed the photos back into the drawer. The letter still crumpled in my fist. I couldn't face her yet. I needed to think, to breathe. Up here. I managed, my voice rough. Her footsteps climbed the stairs, and I braced myself. She appeared in the doorway, her auburn hair loose, her briefcase still in hand. She looked tired but beautiful, the way she always did, and it made my chest ache. "You're home early," she said, setting her bag down. Her eyes flicked to the letter in my hand, and for a moment, something like guilt flashed across her face. "What's that?" "You tell me," I said, holding it up. "Found it in the trash. Care to explain?" Her lips parted, but no words came. She looked away, her fingers twisting the hem of her blazer. "Evan, I didn't mean for you to see that. Didn't mean for me to see my own letter?" My voice rose, sharp with hurt. "I poured my heart out, Lila. I was trying to fix us. And you threw it away like it was nothing." "It's not that simple," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I was angry. I didn't know what to do with it." Angry. I stepped closer, the letter trembling in my grip. Angry enough to throw away 10 years? Angry enough to. I stopped, the photos burning in my mind. I wanted her to say it, to admit it, but the words stuck in my throat. She met my eyes and I saw it. The truth she couldn't hide. Evan, I'm sorry, she said, tears welling. I didn't mean for this to happen. For what to happen? I pressed, my voice breaking. Tell me, Lila. Who is he? Her silence was deafening. She sank onto the edge of the bed, her hands covering her face. His name is Mark, she said finally, her voice muffled. He's a colleague. It started as nothing. Just talking. But it became more. The air left my lungs. I staggered back, leaning against the dresser. How long? A few months, she admitted, her voice small. I didn't know how to stop it. I didn't want to hurt you. Hurt me. I laughed, a bitter sound. You threw my letter in the trash, Lila. You've been living a lie while I've been killing myself to keep us together. I know, she sobbed. I know I messed up. I was going to tell you, I swear. I just didn't know how. I turned away, my eyes burning. The photos, the letter, her tears, it was too much. I thought of Emma, her gap-toothed smile, her trust in us. How could Lila do this to her? To me? I wanted to scream, to break something, but all I felt was a hollow ache, like my heart had been carved out. I need to go, I said, my voice flat. I grabbed a duffel bag from the closet and started shoving clothes inside. Socks, shirts, anything to keep my hands busy. Evan, please, Lila begged, standing now. Don't do this. We can talk, we can fix this. Fix this. I whirled on her, the bag half-zipped. You broke us, Lila. You chose him. You chose to lie, to sneak around, to throw my love in the trash. How do you fix that? She reached for me, but I pulled away. Her touch, once my comfort, now felt like a burn. I still love you, she whispered. I know it doesn't make sense, but I do. I shook my head, the words hollow. Love doesn't do this. I zipped the bag and headed for the door, my heart pounding. Downstairs, I grabbed my keys and paused at the fridge, where Emma's latest drawing hung, a stick figure family all smiles. My throat tightened. I couldn't stay, not now, not with the betrayal so raw. But leaving meant tearing that drawing apart. Evan, wait. Lila called from the stairs, but I didn't turn back. I stepped into the evening air, the bag heavy on my shoulder. The street was quiet, the sunset bleeding orange across the sky. I didn't know where I was going, maybe a hotel, maybe my brother's couch. All I knew was that the life I'd built with Lila was gone, discarded like that letter, and I wasn't sure I'd ever trust again. As I drove away, the crumpled paper sat on the passenger seat, a reminder of what was and what could never be again. The road blurred through my tears, but I kept going, chasing the horizon, searching for a place where the pain might finally let me breathe.